Welcome to this edition of the Boob Tube Buddies podcast, featuring our discussion of the FX original series Taboo, episode 6 of season 1. Did I get it right that time?
I love that you asked, because I was planning on intentionally telling you got it wrong, just for shock value, but you got it.
All right, back on track. I'm your host, Foxman, and I'm joined by the man whose father doesn't bother saying goodnight to him when he signs off Xbox Live. What up, Mothman?
Oh, man.
Figured I'd keep it all in the family.
All in the family, right? My mom last week, I don't know, we should have saved these for Mother's and Father's Day, respectively.
Yeah, exactly. So real quick, for those of you joining us for the first time or not, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Reddit, or our website, www.boobtubebuddies.com. We will make sure that all your thoughts, theories, everything like that, make it on air. Hell, if you want to come on an interview on one of these episodes, you are more than welcome. Mothman, anything to add before we get to our first segment?
I don't think so. Go to, iTunes, give us a review, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out our website, the norm. That should be a good start, right?
Yeah. We don't, you know what? People want to hear content. What they really want to hear is a segment that's 140 characters or less used to summarize an episode. What would we call that segment, Mothman?
I think we might call it Summon It Up in a Tweet.
Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up, oh yeah, we're summon it up. Oh yeah, we're summon it up, so summon it up. Summon it up and up.
Tweet.
All right, I got another really great tweet. I was actually thinking, do you think you could do like a beatbox for me?
It's not going to be good, but I can definitely do it.
It doesn't have to be good. Just, something basic. 4/4. This is really good. Mama didn't drown no fool. Zilpha went balls deep. The lady covers it up while the company begins to buy some real estate. Take that dress off. That was it. Man, your fills are pretty sweet.
I don't know if Skype has a delay on it that I never realized, because you sounded really the fuck off beat. It was seriously throwing me off.
I don't know. We'll see how it comes out when we actually edit it together, but I'm sure it's not in sync whatsoever.
You're absolutely going to end up having to chop that up line by line to get it to to actually match with my shitty beatboxing.
Well, you know what? That, or we can just leave it super harsh for the ears. But I'm pretty proud of that one. So now, I think you have something special, probably.
I do, my friend. See, when I have my special segments where people are beatboxing or there's music involved, I like to pre-record it in a segment that I like to call Summon It Up in a Dramatic Retelling.
Sometimes, when you're fucking your sister and you see visions of your dead crow bitch mom drowning a baby version of yourself, it's okay to question your life choices. That might keep you from murdering some innocent girl at the wharf in a drunken rage. The more you know.
That is Summon It Up in a Dramatic Retelling, and that is Summon It Up in a Tweet.
Alrighty, so episode 6 of, is it a proposed 8 episode series?
Yes, it is. Or at the very least, the first season, if they choose not to go for another.
Gotcha. So, we're getting down to the wire.
Yeah, and honestly, the quickened pace of this episode and the extra drama that occurred was welcomed, because I will say some of the episodes have dragged a little bit, and I don't think this one did.
No, this one was a lot more concise. Didn't kind of, lollygag around like the prior episodes did at certain points.
It felt like this one was going to in the beginning, because there's lots of flashback scenes of, Crow Bitch in the water. But basically right away, then we get some nice background information where Brace is basically telling him, you're putting your mom up on a pedestal and castigating your father for putting her in a mental institution. But what you don't realize is the reason he did that was to protect you, because she was trying to drown Delaney when he was a kid.
Yeah, so kind of getting, we've been speculating since the very first episode of who this lady is, and to find out it's his mom for sure, which we've kind of been assuming.
Yeah.
But then also just the twist that she's not the good guy in any way. But at the same time, he still seems kind of reluctant to believe it. He even tells Brace to, watch your next words.
Yeah, and basically Delaney's like, what does he say right after that? Or Brace says one last little dig, like, she tried to kill you, you fucking cunt.
I can't quite remember, but I mean, he obviously knows what buttons he can push. But that's an interesting theme kind of throughout the show, or throughout this episode. He's kind of becoming more and more unhinged, and he's obviously never been that, hinged to begin with. And you even start to see characters like Atticus that are clearly not that comfortable around him.
Yeah, and the thing is Atticus so far seemed pretty much unflappable. And then at the end, he literally, after Delaney walks away, like,
Yeah.
fucking terrified.
Which reminds you of like the earlier in the season when Doug Stamper, you don't ever see it happen, but he mentions that he was having Delaney tailed, and when he kills that first assailant and slices him open, like the dude's on medical leave for a week. So they've hinted at this, but now to actually see a little bit, you're seeing more and more of his violence each episode, and now you're seeing other people react to it, and he's just, not the most predictable. Like, he's obviously not just incredibly blood hungry or bloodthirsty either, because otherwise, why wouldn't he have killed, his brother-in-law, episode 1?
Yeah, exactly. Which, man, I can't. We'll get to that scene in a little bit, but that was fucking exciting too.
Yeah.
And we don't need to go into all these little scenes where we see Winter, but just suffice to say, throughout the episode, you continue to see little bits of her and he talking. Like, she's not scared of him. Even when he's doing his fucking voodoo mambo jumbo, she's still not scared. So, I mean, again, we don't need to get into that too much now, but I just wanted to point it out because it kind of builds up, obviously, to the end. But I really do like the chemist the more that we get his scenes.
Me too.
And he is pretty serious this episode, like a lot less of like the, he's wasted off of his fucking nitrous oxide gases or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think once he realized that he was going to be forced to like store chlorite version of gunpowder that's so volatile, he probably realized he should be at least sober for this next stint of work.
Yeah. And oh man, that would be, it just looks grueling, and I can't believe they had the poor little fucking kid in there, dude.
I know. Like, I was trying to do the math because I thought they had at least 6 people and they only gave out like 3 stirs. So I was like, maybe like, you just alternate, because otherwise how is it going to be humanly possible? Like, no matter how strong you are, eventually just the exact same motion over and over, you're gonna have to like tap out and rest, right?
Dude, I mean, if they have to do it all day long, and it had to be for days, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I definitely couldn't do it. We found a thing of sweet red cabbage in the fridge the other day we were trying to eat, and like I couldn't even open it. And I even went out and bought like a rubber jar opener, and it's just like, no, I threw it away.
I will say, Tom Hardy with those fucking mega lats, I'm sure that he could probably do like
he would
double fist it, like one in one vat, one in the other, spread like Jesus on the cross, and just stirring back and forth and back and forth. Like, he could do that nonstop.
I just had the image of him just, putting the sweet cabbage jar between his legs and squeezing and the lid popping off.
With them lats that don't quit. Anyway, I like the first meeting between East India Trading Co. and Mr. Chichester. That's how you say it, right?
Yes, that's the guy who's inquiring about the slave ship that sunk.
Exactly. And I love that, like, he's buttering them up, and they're all having a good time and having a laugh, and he's talking about all these amazing sights that he's seen, and they're like, oh, that is awesome, like, we're so jealous that you've traveled the world. And he's like, indubitably, unfortunately, I had to do it in chains. And then they're like, oh,
it was definitely an M. Night Shyamalan twist.
Definitely.
Very good storytelling.
They're like, oh my God, we're trying to keep it light here, dude. And that's when he talks to them about the Cornwallis/Influence, which is the ship name. And so basically, like, I know that they are supposed to be surprised, basically, by the amount of information that he has.
Yeah, in like they don't wear like an obvious face of oh God, but their face just kind of like slowly contorts, and the fact that he has all the information, and they try to push back, like I don't know if they're just hoping he will drop it, but they say like, well, slave trade was legal in 1804. He's like, oh yes, it was, except for the fact that East India basically, got out of that business publicly on like moral high ground, and then they were still secretly doing it. That will, vastly ruin the company, regardless of what was legal at the time.
Definitely. And, one of my complaints with the show is that I think that they spread themselves too thin. And while I actually do find this part of the backstory interesting with Sir Stuart Strange and how his brother owned a plantation and how Chichester has all this information, I will say there's just not enough time, really, I feel like, they could just take all of it out, because so far it doesn't seem super integral to the plot. And also it seems a little forced anyway. Like, Chichester has all this information that nobody else seemed to have had, and we haven't seen any bit of him digging it up. You know what I mean? Like, he just knows all this, I guess, and
yeah, I mean,
it just seems to be quick.
Yeah, he came up midstream in the show, which was already kind of weird, because you have all these other plots going on. Because the show, we discussed the first episode, it was only like the last 15 minutes where you really felt a grasp on the plot and like the trajectory of the season. Yet, they're introducing him. I mean, I don't know, was it episode 3 or 4 after so much other stuff's happened? And, the other issue with the show in general is pacing and all kind of like the backdoor, bureaucracy and wheel dealing and all this other stuff, and not the most action. So I don't necessarily think it's a bad plot line, and I'm curious how it'll actually play out, but I definitely agree that it could have been introduced a little more like piece by piece from episode 1. There's just a lot of fat trimming in general the show could have done, and probably a little more execution when it comes to like expositional stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, because a lot of these characters, like Chichester, I feel like was not introduced until, was it last episode or the episode before that?
I think it was episode 4, but he basically shows up to Stuart Strange, kind of telling him in his initial inquiries, right? And then, he makes some kind of comment to Stuart about...
well, it's Coop, right? Isn't it
Coop
that he first meets with?
Yeah, Coop, who's, who's kind of playing both sides of the aisle. That's right. And he's kind of going over everything, and there's that dialogue of like, just because I'm black doesn't mean I'm related to every single slave. He very coldly distances himself from the matter, yet at the same time is still pursuing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously it's had its impact on him. I mean, it would, but I think that that's a big part of the reason why this this occurrence speaks to him, this cover up with the influence.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's obviously, like, due to what he's been through, and just the nature of, being a black person in that century, I think he's kind of disillusioned, but at the same time, because he's not this, like, incredibly emotional character about what happened, yet at the same time, he's very persistent and clearly wanting to, take the parties to task.
All right, let's talk about Delaney, who seems to really enjoy wading into waist-deep water.
Yeah, he loves the water.
I mean, it's like a dozen goddamn times this episode.
I mean, I guess we should have known that from episode 1, like with the opening credits. It's all about wading in water.
That's a good point. Yeah, but that seems like deeper water. It's
True.
Like... Is it in his contract that he will not get his navel wet?
Maybe.
What is going on there?
I wonder if there's behind the scene photos of him with like water wings on. Just
That's pretty funny.
For all the shots underneath, and they just CGI them out, and that way he never gets wet and doesn't violate his contract.
When this scene was going on right here, I keep the closed captioning on. We've talked about that before, but I really just like the way that it phrased it. It said, all of a sudden you hear that, and he's looking around, and on my screen it says, disembodied laughter.
Yeah, every now and then there are some pretty funny closed captions. I'm trying to remember the last one we actually talked about in the show. I think it was the way they describe some of the noises from Stranger Things. But for those of you that don't close caption, give it a shot. It's worth it.
It's a treat. Well, the reason why I started doing it with this show, and I've told you this before, is that especially
accents.
when you and I need to sit here and have a full discussion about an episode, I don't understand, but I probably understand 80 to 90% of what they're saying, but that's me missing enough to not being able to have like a real coherent discussion about an episode.
Sure. Yeah, and I kind of just do it in general because of like otherwise I feel like I'm cranking the volume and turning it down and cranking it and turning it down. But Delaney alone, like Tom Hardy's way of talking alone was worth it. But then of course, like some characters like Brace just have such strong accents that I don't think there's much of a way around it to really capture all the dialogue. And as we've discussed, there's a lot always going on, and a lot of it is just dialogue driven. Like it's not seeing these things happen, it's just hearing people talk about what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. So when the mother-in-law ends up going to to Delaney's sister and brother-in-law's house, god damn, that brother-in-law, they've done a good job of making you want him dead. You know, like in this scene, it looks like it's fucking 10 in the morning and he's already 3 sheets to the Mothman, and it's just like stumbling around the fucking living room like a goddamn chump. And I felt so bad because when the sister Zilpha comes out, I like that name, by the way, Zilpha. When she comes out, I don't know what it is, but something about like a battered woman like that, even if it's just, you know, makeup, prosthetics, whatever.
It got you hard.
It does. No, Jesus Christ.
I love that you immediately fell into it. That was perfect.
Oh, God. I'm going to fucking beat you up. Like you're fucking Zilpha.
Oh, that's for the next promo reel, by the way.
Oh, God.
Make too hard. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. No.
You're funny. So what did you think about the fun little rhyme that he was telling?
I thought it was just weird because he has this rhyme and then, you know, you're kind of led to believe that it's a Delaney rhyme based on his influence in the town. And then she's like, I just met him and I've known that rhyme to completely predate him.
No, what she actually said was fake news.
Yeah, fake news said.
But here, why don't you recount some of the rhyme?
I could not recount a single line of it.
Oh, no.
No,
Come on, man. I was laying down a sick beat for you to do it.
I'm sorry, I honestly could not recall it. I just, you know, remember it existing.
Jesus Christ.
Could you do it? If I beatbox, could you do it?
Mothman? Come on, dude. Grow up. All right, so... I feel like your beatboxing is way better than mine is.
Well, your voice is way better than mine is. I thought you were going to nail it right there.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate the compliment. So I will say that when he gets offered the job in Australia, I thought it'd be just kind of nice if he moved away. But then by the end of the episode, it's like, no, I guess it really is better to actually get to watch her drive the fucking poker through his beating heart.
Yeah, no, I definitely would not have been happy if he just moved away and exited the picture. You know, especially after almost getting a duel to the death where you were convinced he was going to die and then Delaney doesn't kill him. Like, they've just been stringing you along and like, it's ultimate fan service to have him killed.
Exorcism last episode too, it's like, you need to have like some real comeuppance for that fucking cocksucker.
Yeah, especially, I mean, that exorcism was so over the top, the dude just groping her breasts.
I know, Jesus Christ.
Like so over the top.
Wandering over the fucking hills of her chest. Like, it was so uncomfortable, right?
Very much so. And even the he was just kind of looking into his hand. Like, as it was happening.
Looking into his hand?
Her, you know, her husband, the brother-in-law, was just kind of like looking down, not really looking it on. Meanwhile, the dude's just groping away.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like if I was in that situation, I feel like I'd be like, hey, wait a minute. You know, like,
I do too.
I can tell what he's doing.
I mean, yeah, especially...
The guy was literally like smacking his goddamn lips while he's doing it. Like the actor was way overselling it.
I do kind of feel like that's also maybe his thing, because he's like super into the fact that she wants to bone Delaney. Like, you know what I mean? He likes punishing her and that whole aspect, so... I don't know, maybe it's this whole thing. I do feel like if it was a modern show, the Exorcist would be wearing an FBI novelty shirt.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Federal body inspector, for those who don't know. You know, people used to wear it on the beach.
No, I totally got it. That's pretty good. I feel like that's got to be like the furthest evolution of cuckolding is when it's the brother boning the sister behind the husband's back.
Yeah, it's like the power of 5.
Yeah, I think they call it the Kentucky cuckold.
Kentucky Fried Cuckold.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, if you're cool with it, you cool if we throw over to... Why am I saying cool so much? Why am I fucking Samuel L. Jackson all of a sudden? Motherfucker! You ready to kick to an Audible ad?
Yes, let's go to a motherfucking Audible ad. Who is it?
You have to let me in. There are monsters on the streets. Flesh-eating monsters.
What? Are you crazy? Go away.
No, please, you can't leave me out here. I will die. They will eat me alive.
Oh, shucks. Look, I can't let you in. I have a family to protect, but I can make it better.
Really? How? How could you possibly make this better?
With a coupon, of course. Go to audibletrial.com/Boob Tube Buddies and you can get a free book. A book like The Secret by Rhonda Byrne.
What the fuck is an audiobook going to do for me?
You don't know The Secret? The Secret has been passed down through the ages, highly coveted, hidden, lost, stolen and bought again for vast sums of money. It's been handed down by oral tradition and practiced by Plato, Galileo, Beethoven, and even Einstein. It gives you the power to do anything that you want.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, not at all. The Secret shows you how to realize your optimized reality. It's why I'm in a warm, cozy house with a loving family, eating filet mignon, and you're outside running from flesh-eating beasts. And it's only a 4.5-hour listen, and then you'll be good to go. Good luck!
But I don't even have headphones. Oh God, they're coming! Ah!
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you're laughing as hard as I am at that Audible ad, because it was fantastic. Wasn't it, Fox?
It was my favorite one ever.
Anyway, so the other thing that kind of happens is not only is he able to get the gunpowder to Stamper, but unfortunately, Stuart Strange finds out where the plant is and then somehow takes ownership of it, to which case they all just kind of, slam on the table and go, rah, rah, yeah, rah, 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 great.
Huzzah, huzzah.
Yeah, huzzah, huzzah, great job.
But the way they find out is because it's the farmer who's been watching his son brother, and he, I guess, has some. I guess what happens is he sees the fucking voodoo signs, and he's like, "Oh dear God, forgive me, I have sinned." And then he goes and he tells the priest, and what does the priest say? No more monkeys jumping on the bed?
Precisely.
Oh, that's the doctor. God damn it.
Yeah, he tells the priest. The priest obviously is not honoring his pact with God and the community and is instead squealing to the fucking company, which,
The Thumpkin Company?
The fucking company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but after midnight, they do turn into the pumpkin company.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
man, you're on fire tonight. What a good joke. The Pumpkin Company. That's one for the promo reel right there.
There we go.
Did you have that pre-written down? Like, you knew you were coming up with Pumpkin Company, right?
I didn't say pumpkin company. You misheard me.
You think you're so cool with your fucking Cinderella jokes.
Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, that guy gets killed for confessing, even though it's part of his religion.
Yes, man, you are like jumping all the fuck around right here.
Sorry.
So many things. Like, okay, first off, he delivers the thing, but I thought that the part where the police stop him is really cool because you feel like, oh, for sure, either it's all gonna blow up because that police officer's leaning too close in with the torch, or he's gonna catch them and they're gonna have to kill him or something like that. I definitely was not expecting the boy to have lay down in the coffin.
Yeah, no, I was not expecting that either. You kind of think things are going to be caught and not go as well. And it's one of those things like the last 2 episodes, they've been pushing the envelope of like, this isn't doable, right? With the gunpowder mission to begin with, but now the fact that they have to get out of there and they have 50 kegs that basically can't be moved on too rocky of circumstances that they're going to blow up. You're not really sure how any of this is going to work out, so it's definitely feasible when you think the police are going to peek in there, find everything, and kind of go from there.
Let me ask, whose voice do you think that the sister is hearing that tells her to kill her husband?
I don't know. I really don't, because he obviously is not talking to her. We've seen one instance.
It's not him. Well, you can tell that because he looks confused when she says that.
Because there's one instance in the show where they imply he is doing that, and they're kind of, making love on the astral plane, but this time it's obviously not him. He's confused. He obviously hasn't killed the brother-in-law, even though he's given numerous chances, so it would also be a weird thing for him to have happen as well. And yet, we haven't really seen any other characters, at least that I recall, that would have those capabilities, unless it's like, I don't know, the ghost of the mom or something.
Yeah, so I mean, are you thinking maybe she is imbued with some power that has been undiscovered, I guess, up until this point?
It's possible.
Okay,
I wouldn't rule it out.
Yeah, okay, we don't have to get... I was just curious what you thought about that. Okay, so the killing scene in general, where she digs the poker into his heart, what did you think?
Oh, I loved it so much.
I mean, even beyond just the satisfactory thing, like, of him being killed, just, I liked the way that it was done, too. Like, I was sure that he was going to wake up and she was going to hide the poker behind her back or something. Like, I, honest to God, even as it was happening, did not expect it to end with her plunging that thing through his fucking heart.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how last episode ended, was with her hearing voices, pulling out the... And I mean, I don't know what else to call it but a poker. It's almost like a knitting needle. Like, it's super long. I don't know what it actually is supposed to be. But she puts it away because the voice goes away. But this time, like, I definitely felt something was going to come to fruition. I just didn't know if she was going to succeed, or if, like, just a battle was going to ensue and maybe he would kill her, or, like, beat her a little bit too much and she'd be, catatonic or seriously injured, and then Delaney would be like, "Now I'm going to kill you." But I was pretty satisfied with her just sliding in his heart.
I was a little surprised that, okay, like, because she goes to him, to Delaney, and he says he'll dispose of the body. I was a little surprised that he went to Doug Stamper with it. Like, because, like, now it's, like, literal skeletons in the closet that Stamper has over him. Like, because the whole point is he's trying to leverage all these people and these organizations and countries and everything against each other.
Sure.
So I was surprised that, because that is showing some bit of weakness. Like, it's showing something, like a card that could be played against him later on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if the idea is just that he wasn't, with everything else that's going on, he just couldn't take care of it himself. And also because of what he was currently doing for Doug with the gunpowder and everything else, like, maybe he just figured now wouldn't be the time that he's going to fuck with him anyway, because he just came through for him, and of all the parties involved, this would be the safest of bets. But, I mean, you're right, it's definitely a vulnerability that could be exploited later.
Okay, so speaking further along those lines, what was Delaney doing when he was digging in the grave at the funeral?
I don't know. I feel like half the time he's just doing weird shit, like wading in water, rubbing ash on his face, and you're supposed to presume it's witchcraft of some sort, and that it makes sense.
Oh, okay, so you think that was supposed to be some sort of magical moment?
I guess. I mean, there's a lot of weird stuff that he does that's kind of out there. I mean, the only other mystery in this episode is what happens, or unless you know of a reason, but, like, what happened to Winter?
I don't know. I honestly, I mean, I think he killed her in a drunken fit, maybe. But I mean, like, the part at the grave, I mean, if it is what you're saying and it's like this magic moment, it took me by surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Come on, man, you didn't catch that I was doing the song lyrics? This magic moment. It took me by surprise.
What song is that?
You fucker, you've never heard that song?
I don't think so. Maybe if you gave me a sick, like, beatbox behind it, I would get it.
Forever till the end of time. I'm pretty sure that's not how it goes.
Who sings it, you know?
I don't know, Eddie Van Halen. I don't know. It's an old song.
Yeah, David Lee Roth.
It's an old song. I don't know.
All right, fair enough. Well, sorry I didn't get the reference. You got to come at me a little more modern than that, you know.
I guess so. Yeah, that's true. He's such a fucking hipster. Okay. All right. So let's actually move forward a little bit. We kind of glossed over some of the stuff like where he has to rush back and then they have to transport all the extra gunpowder and then because what's the dude's name that's helping him out? I can't ever remember that guy's name.
Wait, Atticus?
No, not Atticus, the spy dude.
Oh, I can't remember. I just call him Godfrey.
Okay, I call him Yankee Doodle Mothman.
Dandy. Yeah.
Oh, Dandy, that's right.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, by the way? I know that you're a little under the weather.
I'm feeling fine. I'm trying not to laugh too hard or have too good of a time.
Okay,
because
then it'll be like it was during the Audible ad.
Yeah,
and
it'll
that
just
was
be
playing,
out of
and all
control.
of a sudden, you're just melting down. Then all of a sudden, you start giggling, and I can literally hear what sounds like the fucking bowels of the earth shaking underneath you.
And then I hear those laughs directly in my ears with my headphones and just laugh at them even more. It's just like a feedback loop.
You're a funny little guy. Okay, so this is the part where Delaney gets his ship destroyed, and goddamn if it doesn't send him way off the deep end.
Yeah, he's not the most stable character to begin with, but then I don't remember what shitface's name is, but the weird dude with the pointy nose and the other guy come up to him and say, gloves are off, bitch, and then immediately an explosion happens. You know, it's kind of like an action movie scene, like what you'd see in like a spy thriller, but it was kind of interesting to have like a horse and carriage roll up and be like, gloves are off, bitch, boom.
What I really wanted to hear was, what's the Who song from CSI Miami?
Who are you? Wow!
No, the one where it's like, from Bobo O'Reilly.
Yeah. Wow! And he puts on the sunglasses.
Yeah.
Oh god, that would have been good if he just came out with like kind of weird steampunk monocles he put on right afterwards. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty funny. Okay, so his name is Godfrey. Dude, you're right. I actually had written it down here.
Oh really?
Damn, dude, you're a lot better with names than I am. I've noticed that actually.
Oh, thanks, buddy. I didn't know it was a talent of mine.
Yeah, you're pretty good at it, man. Everybody's talking about it.
The Twitters are alight with it's all about basically Trump and my good memory with names.
Definitely
trending every day.
Hashtag Monday Mothman.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, this is the part where then he visits Helga and he's really drunk, melting down, throwing a tantrum, walking around town or stumbling, I guess, drunkenly around town is a better way of saying it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the fuck Winter brought him more liquor at that point. I was sure that she was bringing him something that was going to sober him up or something.
Yeah, like coffee.
I guess so, yeah.
Right? Like, not like, gasoline on the fire. Not the best idea, Winter, and it got you killed.
Or a fucking bag of charcoal for him to eat or something.
Oh, great.
But isn't that what people do when they're ODing?
Yeah, I mean, activated charcoal in the stomach absorbs a lot of stuff, and then your body can't process it, so you just shit it out.
Interesting. Very interesting. Some people in their saltwater aquariums put charcoal in their sump tank, which is like the underneath tank, like back behind your main one. It's used as like filtration because it sucks up all like the fish shit.
Is it called a suck tank or a sup tank?
It's a sump, S-U-M-P.
Oh, okay. Neither.
Does that make your joke a lot less funny?
Yes.
So
it's harder to make a joke about presumptions or sumptuous activities.
Oh my god, I can't, dude. Okay, we're so close to the end. We gotta finish this.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so we get more crow bitch drowning visions, and then it turns out that, oh shit, no, he wakes up face down in the mud and Winter's decomposing body looking really bad. Like, I wonder if she got, like, waterlogged overnight, or, like, he held her underwater way too long, or, like, unless he slept for a goddamn day face down in the mud, because she looked really decomposed.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Have we ever seen Winter interact with her mom?
Helga, yes.
We have seen them in the same room?
Yes.
Okay. I couldn't remember, because I feel like most of the interactions, she just shows up and talks to him, and I was like, maybe for all we know, he she was dead from the beginning and he's been like talking to her in the spirit realm, but I couldn't remember because I'm trying to unravel. I mean, I'm sure we'll find out next episode, but like how she died. And is it a mystery that just started this episode, or is it like, you know, kind of like you mentioned very early on, is it like Sixth Sense and she's been dead the whole time?
No, we have definitely specifically seen her with Helga, and we've also seen her in slightly integral moments to the plot, like when she sees the one John who's banging the hooker, and then he like starts getting rough with her, telling her to give up information, and then we see her watching from a hole in the wall, and she runs over to let somebody know, like Atticus's men.
Yeah, I kind of recall that. Hey, give me one moment. We're gonna take a quick break. All right, we are back. Sorry about the technical difficulties there, but we're going to finish the show if it's the last thing we do. Isn't that right,
Wait,
Fox?
that's it? We're not gonna. You're not gonna address it?
No, I'm under the weather, and I had to cough a lot.
Oh, okay. Is that what it was? All right.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? That's basically the end of the episode anyway. If you're gonna just held it in for another minute,
they had to hear like 30 seconds of elevator music. Whatever.
Oh, whew. All right. Oh my God, my fucking face hurts. Okay, so thank you guys so much for listening. Sorry about the end of episode meltdown. That's definitely a first for Boob Tube Buddies right there.
Yeah.
Oh
Definitely.
man. But again, just follow us on social media and all that. We're also doing Legion on FX. We just restarted Walking Dead again. We're finishing Black Mirror, and as of next week, we will have Big Little Lies, the new HBO series, going. And the Boob Tube Buddies are finally reuniting after, I guess, like a month and a half hiatus since the American Horror Story stuff. So anyway, that's what we got going on. We don't really have to shill any more of our stuff, right? Like we can just tie a bow on this bitch.
The only other thing I would add is simply that we are going to keep playing around with an end of the month podcast. So if you're the type of person that's like, I'm watching Taboo, but I'm not going to be watching Legion, or I'm not going to be watching Big Little Lies, we'll still have bare minimum a monthly podcast where we just kind of talk about what else we're watching that we wouldn't necessarily cover in long form. So keep your ears peeled for that.
That actually reminds me that Mike from Preacher Don't Preach, he and I are going to do a single episode breakdown of the first season of Young Pope next week.
Nice.
Yep. So anyway, that's it. Mothman, you want to tie a bow on this bitch, or do we need to listen to 30 more seconds of elevator music before we do?
I think I can make it. We will see you next time, little buddies.